Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to the Reel McCoy. I'm your host, Meffistoe, and always with me, my hetero life meant all my feelings. Good evening to you, sir.
Even
What
buddy.
is the Reel McCoy, you ask? The Reel McCoy is very, very simple. We ask you to go watch a movie. You watch it, come back to us, and we discuss it. We break it down. We geek on it, and we kind of slabber it around all over the place. Yes, I fucked it up again. Right.
68 episodes in a row. Keep
68
it going.
episodes in a row. Today, we've got a very special guest, Nick from Ricada Law. How are you doing, man?
Hey, good, man. How are you?
I'm good. It took me, since December to set this up? December of last year. That was...
It was your fault the entire time, too. I was fine. I was like,
Always.
let's go tomorrow.
Yeah,
Let's
of
do it.
course. Of course. And I was ready to do it. And then, no, I'm busy. I've got this trial. You've heard about it. It's something about Florida man with popcorn and whatever. And it kind of rolled from there. We wanted to bring you for Tango and Cash. You're one of your favorite movies, but
I know.
alas, things happened. So of course, Drex had to step in again in your place, and we had some laughs and some good times. But today is October, the 1st of October. So we start the spooky month with a whole host of horror films. And why not start with I'm not sure it's a cult classic, but it's a classic, all right. It's Child's Play, the original Child's Play, the origins of Chucky. How many times have you watched this week? Oh, my feelings.
Just twice. I've seen it countless times before. Yeah.
It's thrice for me. I had a good time with this movie. I had a really good time.
It's a solid under 85-minute film. It's just it's one and done.
It's one of those movies where we talked about endlessly that needs to be like solid 90 minutes, and it was a lot of fun. Brad Dorief, dude, that was awesome. By the way, I completely forgot that Prince Humperdinck is in this one.
Wait, really?
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
He plays. He's the titular. He's the hero. He's Mike Norris. He's Detective Mike Norris.
He's Detective Mike Norris.
Oh my God! See, so I'll out with it right away. I'm a bad guest. I thought we were gonna like watch the movie and like live commentary it.
Oh, sorry.
So
we're not EFAP, but yeah.
Right. So I like completely biffed it and didn't. I've seen this movie several times, but it's been a long time.
As long as you've watched it once in your life, that's okay, man. That's okay.
Of course.
Yep.
Yes.
We're not going to go through every scene by scene. We're going to go through a few scenes. And along the way, we've got a couple of games to have some fun and a little bit of levity and just break away from the monotony of just covering every single piece. So we start the show with our first segment where we go to All My Feelings and we go get the lowdown and everything behind the scenes.
Production take 2.
Well, no, technically we're not because I'm a bad goddamn producer. First, before we start, if you want to follow the show, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. But if you want to interact with the show, it's basically interacting with me at Meffistoe on Twitter, or if you want to interact on Instagram, I don't actually use it just for messaging, Meffistoe79. You can email the show at the Reel McCoy podcast at gmail.com for suggestions. And of course, our guest, follow or subscribe to our guest if you haven't subscribed to him at youtube.com/Ricada Law. But most importantly,
hopefully he's unbanned by now. Please.
Yes, unbanned by now. But if something happens, Ricada Law on rumble.com/ it's either C or without C. I don't really know. I just grabbed it off.
I don't know if it matters. Yeah.
And to follow Nick wherever he goes, it's definitely not on Twitter because he's suspended again for nothing at all again. But you can always grab him at ricadalaw.locals.com.
Was it? We'll just say I was struck down by tyranny. Definitely tyranny.
Tyranny. Yes. Tyranny.
Yep.
Yes.
All that. Right. So behind the screens, we go to All My Feelings and we get the lowdown on everything on the production side.
Okay, so some fun bits about this. First of all, this is all Don Mancini's work. Chucky was his brainchild. It still is. He is still the writer and producer of the series up until now, even in the television series. But Chucky was really based off of his whole distaste for his father being an ad exec and being kind of an asshole. And at the
Really?
time, his father was working during his childhood, was working on toy campaigns. So he wanted to show the dark side of childhood advertising to kids. Now it was really more heavily influenced also by the Trilogy of Terror, which had a living doll scene, and also by the Twilight Zone, the living doll.
Okay.
So on the looks of Chucky, my buddy, which Nick, you might remember this as
My buddy.
the
My
buddy.
Oh,
My buddy and me.
And
Oh
me.
yeah, I remember.
I had
Yeah.
a setup of a picture of my buddy. It's uncanny how fucking eerie it looks, just like Chucky, with
Yeah.
a small little twist.
Was heavily influenced Chucky's appearance and also Cabbage Patch Dolls, how big they were in the late 80s.
Yes.
So the title went through multiple changes. Originally, it was actually called Batteries Not Included.
Which is a movie done by Spielberg at the same time.
Correct. Then they
Little
wanted to
flying
actually...
things.
Yes.
So, yeah. Yep, with the robots. Mhm.
Yeah.
Then they actually wanted to go with a title named Blood Buddy, but that got changed because it was also being made as another horror film at the time.
Blood Buddy is actually a recurring horror film for anyone who's either married or dating a woman.
True.
Once a month, they get to watch the Blood Buddy week-long spectacular.
I thought it's
Terrifying.
called. I thought it's called Anne Flo's Coming to Town or something.
That's what it's called in Japan.
Different titles, that's
Yeah.
that's the way it has to go. So the original was actually supposed to have a fake doll that would bleed fake blood, and when Andy got hurt, he was going to bleed, and his blood was going to mix with the doll's.
Okay.
And so the doll was actually going to take on Andy's persona and try to defend him. So anyone who insulted Andy or told Andy what to do, the doll would kill as kind of I would say that just a placation of and kind of a side note to Andy's repressed rage. And it was going to be a whole big story on a big whodunit at the end, whether it was actually the doll at all or was it just Andy.
Oh, that
It's always
a great movie.
It's always fascinating to hear how these movies started out, like The Brainchild, and then you're like, oh yeah, that seems like a good idea. But then you think about it and you're like, actually, that movie would be kind of shit.
Kind of cool, yeah. I mean, like some of the originals were like, yeah, that'd be a really fucking dumb idea. This one, like, oh, okay, I could kind of see it. Kind of a whodunit.
We covered quite a few
What?
of those movies where, maybe not.
You had me until the whodunit. Like it suddenly be like first of all, like I hate the whodunit label on anything because it sounds too goofy to be serious.
That's fair, yeah.
It's like you could see this wonky romp where they try and figure out. It's like, what was the doll? Like, he just dumb
You know
at
what?
the end.
It reminds me of an M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Yeah,
That means it's shit.
That's yeah.
Yeah. Anything else?
There's a lot. In the first rewrites, Charles V. Ray's character was actually killed by an electric chair, not by getting shot, and his soul was transferred into a doll in the factory. That factory was used in Child's Play 2 because they couldn't afford it in Child's Play 1.
Oh, obviously.
there you go.
Like, we can't afford this shit. So originally, Brad Dorief, he plays Charles Lee Ray, but he couldn't do the voice acting because he's working on another film at the time. So they actually had Jessica Walter come in and do the voice of Chucky in the first original test screenings.
She sounds familiar. Where's she from?
Archer. Think of Archer, Mallory Archer.
Oh, okay. But back then.
Yeah.
And she didn't do it because...
No, she did it, but
Oh,
the test screening was so awful, they had Brad Dourif come in and do emergency redubs.
Oh, shit. Okay. So is it an amalgamation of both their voices in some places, or is it...
No. It's all of when Chucky's alive, it's all Brad Dourif.
Okay.
When it's the doll, it's actually a guy named Eden Gross, because he did the doll voice for a toy line called Corky. Brad Dourif liked the because it's like, hi, I'm Chucky, and I'm your friend to the end. That
yeah, I meant the crazy "I'm gonna kill you, bitch" sound.
Oh yeah, no, that's all Brad Dourif.
Okay,
that's all Brad Dourif. So the original cut was actually 2 hours and 35 minutes.
Ooh,
that's way too
Oh
long.
God, that's a lot of Chucky.
There's a lot.
A lot that was
the
cut out.
The Snyder cut of Chucky.
No,
and it's like the first part of the entire movie, as you see how you see at the beginning.
The origin stories of Charles.
Not really the origin stories, but you see how you just see Mike Norris running after Charles E. Ray at the beginning. Yeah, there was a whole setup where it was a sting operation where Mike Norris was undercover trying to and flushed him out, and also had more with his partner that they'd never really show. So yeah, that's a whole thing.
It's stupid and dumb and no.
Yeah. Well, obviously the big thing was Charles E. Ray is derived from obviously Charles Manson.
Yeah.
Lee Harvey Oswald,
and another
James Earl Ray.
Okay. I knew that.
3 people who were not serial killers.
Okay.
They were, well, 2 of them are murderers. One was just a real big asshole. Manson.
I guess.
He just got other people to do the murdering.
He got other people. Yeah.
Exactly. Charismatic as shit, put it that way. The film was actually released the same day, November 9th, 1988, that Ray is listed as supposedly dying in the film.
Okay.
It's just a funny happenstance.
It's just a happen. Did they aim for that or what?
Yeah, they did, obviously.
Okay.
Ed Gale, who has been in so many films, including a film that you mentioned last week, Howard the Duck.
Yes.
Did a lot of
great movie.
Yeah, did a lot of bit parts in the film, actually in the Chucky suit.
Oh, okay.
And yes, including the scene where they set him on fire.
Nice. So Howard the Duck was on fire in a Chucky suit.
Yes. Yeah.
I love it when things come together.
2 big names were actually offered the role of Charles E. Ray before Brad Dourif took it, and that was John Lithgow and Gary fucking Oldman.
Oh. Really?
Imagine how different their careers would have gone.
Yes, exactly.
Straight off a cliff.
I mean, this is 88. The most well-known thing that John Lithgow did was being a football player, but dressed as a woman in World According to Garp.
Correct.
Yes. And a few other things, but that's the main thing. So, no. And Brad Dourif was in Dune. I mean, he had a big part, but he was in Dune.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Fine. I guess if you want to call that a movie.
Come on.
Anything else before we jump in? Hey.
2 more notes real quick. In the original script, Tom Holland, the director, actually wanted to write it so that Charles E. Ray was actually supposed to be written as Andy's father.
Okay.
That was supposed to be the tagline before they added all the voodoo nonsense at the end, where the first person that you revealed yourself to, that's the soul you have to steal, the body you have to take.
Yeah.
Before it was supposed to be, it has to be someone who is related to you or your blood.
Okay, I guess it it could have worked, but it works better when it's an outside source coming into the family.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, I guess. I you know, it,
And then
you don't know until you actually watch it, but sometimes these ideas are just not working.
yes,
Not
and then
working at all.
the one last little side note before we get into the review, Mancini and Lafia, Mancini, who wrote the original script, who by the way has noted is saying that only 50% of my original script actually made it on film.
Yeah, if they had 2 hours and 40 minutes. Yeah.
No. As in even the condensed version. He's like, yeah, Lafia wrote the rest.
Okay. Did they join co-wrote? Because I don't think
Nope. They had the studio had Lafia come in and do rewrites because they're like, yeah, we have to condense some of this down, and we also have to make this other completely different angle because it was all the whole blood buddy thing was there beforehand. It didn't have any of the voodoo stuff, all the other nonsense. So
I like the voodoo stuff. Yeah. Okay. Let's.
Well, see,
so
that's
I was
that's
just gonna
the
say
problem
though.
with screenwriting, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not only screenwriting. It turns out, and we covered quite a few movies. It turns out a lot of it's like studio heads thinking one thing, the writers thinking one thing, the director thinking one thing, and the accountants that actually pay the money that set the budget are pulling in different directions.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes because it's sort of a budgetary kind of decision, it turns out like something magical, and sometimes it just
Yeah. Well, then one last little note, but Mancini and Lafia were actually banned, as you mentioned, the disputes that you had between the director, the writers, the producers, and everybody. Well, they were banned from set by Tom Holland, who was the director, because they had apparently an actual physical altercation over lines in the script.
God, I wish those days were back. People actually fighting for credit or for their art to.
But
for
imagine,
imagine actually caring, right?
You're
like
fighting over a line in Child's Play. Like, no, he really has to do the voodoo things. Like, no, you bastard.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine a script fight in a show like, let's call it, I don't know, She-Hulk or Rings of Power? Maybe somebody fucking cares about something, right? Let's go. Let's do something completely else. Let's have Brad Dourif's face on the screen. Let's do that, shall we? So, oh shit! Of course, I pressed the wrong button and Roblox kind of opened up. So
wait, Roblox? What are you doing?
He's got kids.
My kids. Yeah, my kids.
They all do.
Yeah, we all do. All right. So, Charles Lee Ray. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Me and names are all over the place. He goes into the shop as he chases. Yes, I said it. Humperdinck. Where is it? There he goes. There's Mr. Humperdinck.
Yes.
It's Chris Sarandon, Susan Sarandon's brother.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't tell. He needs to have bigger locks of hair to do that, right?
What's funny too is he came just after he played Humperdinck, and he also was one of the primary antagonists in Fright Night right before this. So he came from being just this outrageous villain to
he's a vampire.
the hero.
Yeah. And of course we have they have the whole shootout, and it's gone crazy. And Charles Lee Ray, or Chucky, comes in and he finds this doll because he was trained by this voodoo guy. We don't know yet, but he was trained by this voodoo guy, and he puts his bloody finger on it. Now, this is where I stop. Now, we'll touch upon that in a minute, but why aren't they bloodstains on the Chucky doll when the mom buys it from the hobo and brings it home?
Wow, you get on me about nitpicking, Meth.
It's nitpicking, but it bothered me. How come the Chucky doll that the little kid got is pristine, where you can clearly tell there's fucking blood marks all over it?
I got this one. This is actually a simple answer. First of all, you have a man who has been shot, who is transferring his soul into a doll with voodoo blood magic. And you are concerned that the blood that was on the doll doesn't show up later. Well, let me just tell you, Meph, it is voodoo blood magic that is to blame for the cleanliness of the doll
Actually-
as well.
No, to that point, Nick, I think it was the lightning bolt. The lightning bolt actually ionized.
Oh, that's right.
And
I
made the
forgot.
blood evaporate. See,
lightning
that's
bolt
what
that
it was.
That destroyed the fucking shop and not killed the police officer there. I'm sorry. Sorry.
Which is so funny too is that toy store was actually an old Chinese restaurant that they retrofitted within 36 hours to make it a toy store.
Stop Asian hate. That's all I'm saying. Right. So
It was an old abandoned one. That's that they bought it out.
You can tell yourself whatever you want to make you feel happy. Now, this, Nick, I saw this 3 times, like I said, this week, and it made me only think about my kids and how I don't want them to make me breakfast. Oh my God. You probably forgot this scene. He puts in toast by himself. He puts on a slab of
Country crock spread. Yeah.
No, it's almost like he takes an ice cream scoop and just goes.
Yes, he
Yeah.
does.
That'll work.
He actually does. He fills the Lucky Charms full with water and spills everything. And later on,
Hey,
he,
it was milk.
he has
Give
the
child
tray
some credit.
and
Okay.
everything kind of wobbles and everything spills. And I was like, these damn kids.
Yeah, I know this feeling exactly.
Yeah.
Dad, can I make eggs? Oh God, do you
that
have to?
Face. That face.
Well, that's when
It's
you
like,
put the
"Thanks."
kid up for adoption. Right there.
That's where.
Mom, I made you breakfast. Oh, let's go to the county building.
So the whole point is, along the way while he's carrying the tray, he sees this big box where he thinks, well, it's probably a Chucky doll, right? He has the Chucky good guy not just Chucky, but the good guy ads on the TV,
Because he was watching it was the Good Guy show that he was watching, because it was a whole
Yeah.
television series. Because it was big in the 80s, Nick, in the States, where every single cartoon, every single kind of like kid show had a line of action figures, toys,
Yeah.
cereal, you name it, it had it.
Yeah, it was here too, dude, just with a slight variation. Anyway, so he sees the thing when they open it together, the mom and the kid. It's like a sweater and some clothings, and kind of remind me of my situation where I got presents from my grandparents, and it was always, oh, I've bought you this new sweater. It's like, Jesus,
Thanks.
Grandma, I'm 8.
That's
I'm
what
8.
grandmas do. And also the look on Andy's face, that child actor,
Yeah,
he nailed it. It's Alec Vincent, who actually ends up playing Andy Barclay throughout the entire series. Even in the current TV show, he's playing himself as Andy Barclay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's still playing
Wow.
Andy Barclay these many
Nice.
years later. So,
Wow.
but
Talk
anyway,
about
the look on
typecasting.
his face is just like, it's pure disappointment. It's a child's disappointment where it's like,
Yeah, I've seen that face, and I've made that face too. So the mom is like, oh, I made a mistake. And she goes to work. She has a talk with her friend. And her friend said, well, there's a guy selling one of those dolls
Aunt
in
Maggie.
the alley behind. Was like, I don't know, maybe not
Why
do
don't you
that.
Yeah, just go to the store. Like, just try that out. Like, just go to the regular store and buy one.
well, the thing was, she couldn't afford it. So she's like, oh, well, this guy will sell it to me
Oh.
for cheaper. So that's
Yeah.
why she ended up getting it for like, what,
It was
75% off? Or
No,
something?
it's like, yeah, she bought it for like $30, and the original one is supposed to be like 100, maybe, in the store. And the guy's giving her some shit. He says 50, and she says, well, 20. It's like,
yeah.
and they keep arguing, and she catches him going too low, and he can't go back, and he gets annoyed with her. And
Yeah, I mean the real like it's those back alley hagglers, man. They have a real integrity to accidentally saying the wrong number. Like, oh, you got me. There's
Yeah,
nothing
yes.
I can do about this. You're gonna go straight to the management. I love movie thinking. It's always like this. It's like 50. Like this dude is clearly like selling hot merchandise. Like, yeah, 50
Yeah.
bucks. No,
Yeah.
20. No, 45. No, like 20, 21. No, like 19. What shit? No. Like,
it's like a trope, but it doesn't work in this one because the guy, the actor who's playing the hobo is real bad. He's like, he's not. He's like an extra. So she gets the doll home. They put it up. And they don't even check if there's batteries in, because as soon as they take it out, it makes the good guy sounds. The hi, I'm this. Blah, 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 blah,
Hi,
blah.
I'm Chucky. Want to play?
You want to play?
I'm your friend to the end. Yeah.
Yeah. So he has the what you would expect the doll. So they don't even check the batteries, which comes in a little bit later. But the only reason the mom is home is when they get back from the alley, her manager, which is let's say he is an asshole, to say the
Yeah.
least.
Yeah.
And he's like,
it's my kid's birthday. I'm sorry. She called in sick. You got to work.
you got to work. So you can take like 2 hours off and come back, but you need to come back. Otherwise you're fired. And her friend is like, don't worry. I'll take care of Andy. Just don't worry about this. She wants to even cover for her. And he says, well, she's in jewelry. You're in like underwear department or whatever. And
I think she was in shoes.
whatever it was.
It doesn't matter. But she's like,
it's
I'm sorry.
sales.
It's also a department store. Why the fuck would it matter?
It really doesn't matter, but it's an excuse to get the mom away in terms of script wise, right?
Yeah.
She just has the little interaction. She said she's going to take care of you. And while she takes care of Andy, I need to get a good shot of this. She hears noises, and we can see Chucky kind of scurries away.
And also, just in the interim too, they have the whole bit where it's setting up that Chucky is something is obviously wrong. Like Chucky is either talking to Andy or Andy's making up a story that Chucky's talking. So, like Chucky wants to watch the news because he's hearing about his former partner, the one that abandoned him, Charles E. Ray, who drove off after he got shot, getting out of prison. He escaped from prison anyway, and trying to figure out where the hell he is, trying to get more information about it.
Yeah.
So they end up having Andy's brushing his teeth. The TV turns on while Maggie's actually in the kitchen, and it zooms in on what it has Chucky sitting in the chair by himself watching the TV. Did you see what the call letters were for the news channel?
No, but is it important?
WDOL. Doll.
Oh. Oh, it's like last week with the call signs was the same as the
It's so dumb.
It's so dumb. It's so dumb, but it's there in every single movie, right?
Yeah, but the important part was it was setting up the fact that there's something wrong there. That's obviously that the doll's moving by itself, and then we have everything set up with Maggie, where what happens with Maggie?
Yeah,
in the kitchen.
I'm trying to set a good shot with her and the hammer in her face.
What I love about this movie and any movie that involves like an evil murder doll is like when you look at the doll that they buy, every time you look at that thing, go, yeah, that thing's going to kill you. Like no one on earth would actually buy this doll. Like this doll is horrifying looking from the start.
Yeah. And what's funny too is Nick, throughout the entire series, there are multiple people that says like, that's an ugly doll.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I think I've watched up to the Bride of Chucky. I think
the one
seen
where they
like
have sex,
I've seen
where the two
snippets.
dolls
I've seen
get down?
yeah.
Yes, Nick. No, that actually does happen.
Yeah,
It-
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Oh god.
Jennifer
It's
Tilly who plays the bride of Chucky, and
Tiffany.
it's so fucking ridiculous where they constantly say that these dolls look weird or disgusting or not fit for children, and it's like, duh. I mean, so we've got the
That's
police
the whole
coming.
scene where
Yeah,
Maggie
when
gets thrown out of basically gets pushed out of the window. But what's funny is that originally she was supposed to be electrocuted.
oh
She was actually supposed to be electrocuted in the way. I'm glad that you brought it up. Was
yeah,
that got reused in Bride of Chucky, killing the original Tiffany, who was played by Jennifer Tilly, in order for Chucky to put
oh,
her soul into the body of the Tiffany doll. Yep.
okay. Nice little tidbit there. So the mother comes back home. By the way, I didn't mention this. The actress is Catherine Hicks, and
Mhm.
basically the only other movie she was in is Star Trek IV: The Return Home,
Yep.
where she plays the guardian of the whales in what is it, San Francisco, I think. Some sort of tank there. And
So basically, just like the most ultra leftist,
yes,
like super liberal.
yes,
Yeah.
but because she was so nice, they brought her to the the future, because that doesn't ruin anything anyway.
Yes.
So she comes in the house. By the way, why didn't anybody call from the police? Who cares? She comes in. He's like, your friend is dead. It's like, my friend is dead. Yeah, she fell out of the window. I think she
Happens
was
every
murdered.
day.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think she was murdered, but there's no signs of actual murderer. And there's a shot where they look at the counter, and the counter has like little feet. It's like, who made these feet? These little feet. I mean, it's not Andy's shoes. And Andy goes to bed, and he looks at Chucky, and Chucky has like white powder on his feet. It's probably cocaine. And he's like, Mommy, I think Chucky did it.
She was a single mother. It was a bowl of sugar. Come on, man.
Single motherhood. Again, we get to the ultimate root problem of this movie and where these kids went bad. For this kid who started murdering people and then blamed it on a doll, thought he would get away with it.
Well, what's funny too is immediately Andy is just like, "Oh god, so Chucky, oh you did it." Like he knows. The kid
Yeah, I
gets
mean,
it off the rip.
It's kids' intuition, basically.
Everyone's around him is just like, no. The detective obviously thinks that Andy did it.
Yeah,
which makes
obviously.
sense. I mean,
when they
think
go
about
down,
it.
when they have a scene where
But then
him and his
no,
partner go down the elevator, and the
Mhm.
partner's like, we found this that kind of fits with the wound that she had in her face, and it's the kids kind of hammer that they play with the doll, right?
It's the good guy hammer. Yep. Mhm.
And the guy's like, yeah, it's probably the murder weapon. And we're like, yeah, it's obviously we're suspecting Andy. He's probably,
Also, like, I love how this goes. So you have someone murdered in a house, but that night the mom and the kid are sleeping in the same house that the murder just occurred in. Like, it's no big deal.
Yeah.
Like, there's no investigation.
There's a crime
happening.
scene.
Right.
No.
It's like,
Yeah.
No, you guys just stay here, go about your normal lives. Like, the murderer could return or whatever. We're not even worried about it.
I mean, technically, there's a scene where she yells at the police to get out of her house, and the cops are like, okay, we're done here, boys, let's go. And they leave. All right, cool.
No big deal.
And she has this conversation with Andy. It's like,
which you have to know something's wrong, because immediately the kid just goes, his name's not Chucky, it's Charles Lee Ray. How the fuck would this little kid know the name of a very famous serial murderer who just got killed?
Because he's been watching the news.
It was on the news.
But then
Yep.
immediately he goes, no, Chucky said it was okay for Aunt Maggie to go. He said Aunt Maggie was a real bitch.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's
He
like-
was right.
Technically.
So this kid is 8.
Uh,
How old is Andy supposed to be?
I think he's 6 or 8.
No, I think he's 7 or 8. He has to be in his. He's definitely.
that's the ballpark.
10.
I hope he wears that outfit to school and gets beat up.
Well, we're
Good that
coming
the
to
because
that.
he does actually dress like a good guy doll. He dresses like
He dresses
Yeah.
just like a good guy doll.
yeah.
So a day passes. They go to school, and this is the most disturbing scene ever, because I have to remind everybody here, this is in Chicago. This is set in Chicago, like Ferris Bueller last week. And
I like
there's
to
a
refer to
kid.
this as Andy Barkley's day off.
This is Andy Barkley's day off, because he goes to school, he waits for his mom to leave, and then he takes his doll that he got to school and leaves to ride the L.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well,
With the
as
doll.
one does.
And there's lots of
It
adults
was acceptable
around.
in the 80s. Okay,
There's
they
lots
didn't
of
care.
there's lots of adults around. Nobody says dick. Nobody says nothing, because Chucky kind of convinces the boy to go to a specific place. By the way, it's in the south side of Chicago.
Chicago. Yeah.
What was better back then?
No,
No, it wasn't.
no,
there's
it
less-
wasn't.
There's
It was
less
not
murder
better
and
back then.
drugs.
That is categorically false, my friend.
Yes.
No, it was fine.
Now, when they get to the house, he sits Chucky down in this rocking chair, right? And he says, Chucky, just stay here. I'm going to tinkle in this homeless shelter of sorts. And I was like, this kid is going to get murdered somehow. And it's not going to be fucking Chucky. But oh no, Chucky leaves and he finds the guy in the house, his old partner.
Eddie.
He
Yeah.
turns on the gas. It's an old gas cooker where as soon as you puff the down below, it actually doesn't stop. It just goes, takes out gas. And Andy actually looks for Chucky outside of the house.
Well, this is the thing, is where this kid obviously has no greater realm of self-preservation whatsoever. He hears a gunshot and runs toward it.
Yeah, because he
Gotta
heard the
see what's
gunshot.
happening.
Because he heard the gunshot, because the guy was rattled and he was firing all over the place in the house. And he goes to the house, just goes around and yells, Chucky, Chucky, where are you? Okay. And of course, everything blows up. Now, we will stop here because we are going to do our first segment of the night. Let's go. Let's take that. Let's do this. Need to prepare this and this and that. Our first segment of the night is called Missing Marquee. What is Missing Marquee for the uninitiated? And Nick, we take 10 posters of movies, have their text written off, we display them, and you, Nick, have to guess which movie this is. We will do this up here, blast it there, and blam. There we
Death
go.
Proof.
Death Proof.
Event Horizon.
Event
The
Horizon.
speed round. Oh shit. This is I know this. It's a movie with a plane. What the fuck's it called? I'm almost there.
Chat participation is
Shit.
most welcome. Tom and the we've got
God,
Tom
I've
Connors.
seen this movie. Oh, it's pissing me off. When I see it, I'm gonna know. God damn it.
Come on, chat,
What
beat
was
him
this
to
called?
it.
What was this called? Something about memory. Oh, someone said The Patriot. This isn't The Patriot.
Yeah, this is not The Patriot. No, this is not The
Forever
Patriot.
Young. That's
Forever
what the
Young. Here we
chat got
go.
it.
We've got
Chat
it.
got it.
We've got it. We've got it. Forever
It's
Young.
been
Correct.
a long time since I've seen that. Kung Fu Panda one
Correct.
or two or
That's
three?
one.
Which one?
That's one. That's one. That's one.
This is oh shit. I have not seen this movie. Is this a Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
Once
Yep.
Upon a Time in Hollywood, correct.
This is Face Off
Not
or is it
Face Off.
Snake Eyes?
Snake Eyes.
Okay, this is shit. This is I haven't seen this, but I've seen this marquee or this poster.
You have seen this.
I've seen this. Oh, this is the end.
No, this
No.
is not. This is the end. No.
Although most of the actors that are in this were in.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
What is this movie?
Clue? McLovin?
Oh, no, I've never seen this.
You haven't seen this. Okay.
I've not seen this. It's
We've got it. We've got it.
Superbad or
We've got
something?
it.
It's all super bad.
D Wizzy
Yeah.
again. It is super bad.
Yeah.
There we go. Hide. I said hide. And I think last one. No, two more. One more.
Oh,
two more.
This is Jewel of the Nile.
Jewel
or
of
is
the
this-
Nile. Correct.
Not Romancing the Stone, although that's great.
Exactly.
And that's Jet
They're-
Li's The One.
The one. Oh, and that's one easy.
Top Gun, obviously.
Top Gun, the original, with the. I never got into. I never got into Kelly McGillis ever, even when she was young, and definitely not now when she's a big potato head
Well, Tom Cruise did, apparently. In the movie, at least. That was
in
a
the
joke.
movie.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Take my breath away, man. Still does. Still does every time.
So
Watch
we've got a bit. So we've got a big explosion, and of course, Andy is being hauled to the police station where there's I want to have. It's not this scene; it's the next scene where he tells Mike, the main dude, he tells him, "Well, Chucky told me to go there because." He wanted to be there, and it's like, and he takes the doll. It's like, Chucky, why did you make me do this? Why did we go there?
Is this a cop?
This is his partner.
Yeah.
This is Mike's partner.
Yeah, so there's
He-
a cop questioning a 6-year-old child without a parent or an attorney present. This is fine.
Yeah, I know.
So
Again, as you said,
the blood on
suspension of
Chucky
disbelief, Nick.
yeah, the blood on Chucky
Hey,
and the whole
no
voodoo
blood on
thing.
the overall. Same thing. Like, yeah, I did properly interrogating a child. Yeah.
And he tells his mom, "Look, Mom, it's Chucky. Chucky made me do it. Chucky wanted me to go there. I didn't know what was there. He just told me to go there, and that's it."
And then Chucky had me try something called heroin. It's great.
So they go back home, and we have the little kid goes to bed, and the mom is being a little bit, suspicious, but not really. So she grabs the box it came in, and as soon as she opens up the box, 2 batteries fall off, and it's like, what the hell is this?
Going
So
back to, again, the original title, which I mentioned before, the
Batteries not included. So she goes to Chucky, who's in the living room. She takes out the back and opens up the thing. And of course, there's no batteries. And we have the first creepy thing happen where Chucky turns his head. It's like, "Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?" And she goes ballistic. And as soon as she goes ballistic, his entire face changes because he literally slides down the sofa, right? She picks him out of the sofa, which, it's strange, picks it up, and then
Well, because
goes
she
ballistic
threatens it.
on
She
her.
says, "If you don't say something, I'm going to throw you into the fire." And then he just goes, stop it, you stupid bitch." It's like, oh, he's Freddy Krueger all of a sudden.
Like, okay, so again, the first time a doll with no batteries turns its head around on you and moves on its own and then says, "Hi, I'm friends to the end," or whatever. That's when it goes into the garbage or like into a, trash compactor, into the ocean, into the frickin' sun. Like, get rid of it immediately. There's no like, well, if you don't talk again, then I'm going to do this. No, like, just get rid of it. Dismember it, whatever it takes.
Yeah. And the thing is, once they have that scuffle, Chucky runs away. He like opens up the door and he runs away. And
But that's what's the funny thing is for this being the titular, like the start of the entire Child's Play franchise, setting up Chucky as this the homicidal maniac doll. He doesn't show up until 45 minutes into his first film. It's halfway through. Over halfway through his first film. You don't even see him. You don't even hear about him. He just exists as a non-entity almost.
But the thing is, that's how I think horror films used to build up to this. Not all of them. Like a lot of the early slasher films would have built like that. Like the first Friday the 13th, which we covered, was like that. You don't see anything until 30 minutes into the movie.
And you're always wondering who's doing it too, because in the first Friday the 13th, until you saw, the later instances of the entire series, you had no idea that it was actually Mrs. Voorhees. And there was no concept of Jason, really. They just knew that it was a sad story that the kid died there. So you thought it was one of the other campers the whole time, like it was a sleepaway camp kind of story.
Yeah, but my point is with the other example is Alien, where in Alien you don't actually see even a glimpse of the monster until the captain dies in the shaft, right? In the air shaft.
No, but in Alien you have the face hugger.
But see, so they did this
on my own point.
Sorry, Nick, sorry, please go ahead.
No, they do it in a lot of horror movies in the early 80s, late 70s. They have like, and Chucky's following the script, right? Like there's the teaser kill that happens with whatever early on. They give you a little bit of action, but the real, like they really build to the killing as the climax, like the main confrontation as the climax. I mean, you can look at Halloween, you can look at The Exorcist, like there's little bits that kind of very lightly sprinkle through, but you would get 30 to 40 minutes of exposition, backstory, and building. And it kind of like the way we do movies now, they happen quick and there's motion going through all of it. And it makes it hard to go back and watch older horror movies specifically because they really did have that build. And nowadays they don't at all. It's like go, 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 which both of them have their advantages. But now it's like you sit down to watch The Exorcist and you're like, oh geez, like can we get some pea soup or something coming out of somebody? Like can we get some mother sucking cocks in hell? Like, let's go.
I was gonna say to that point, Nick, I the only thing I would disagree with you on is I think John Carpenter did it just a bit differently because the way he set up different shots, especially in The Thing and especially in Halloween too, they have different shots of Michael Myers being an imposing figure, but just like in the background, where something is wrong and he's there, but then gone. And in The Thing, you always can tell that something's wrong with a certain person or the dog in The Thing specifically.
Yeah.
But especially in The Exorcist, you're like, come on, you're plotting through your paces. I mean, come on, we've got enough exposition here. Let's get to it.
I think also in original Poltergeist, it takes a while for the daughter to get sucked into the TV, where they kind of have
near the end of the film actually.
At a suspense point, and then it kind of everything happened. No, it's not through the end. It's literally, I think it's around 40 minutes on an hour and a half movie. So it kind of follows the same pace where you have built up suspense that something is a little bit off, but you don't know what it is, but the audience knows more than the actual people who do the thing or in the moment. And that kind of builds it up, and my camera gets fucked up again. Holy shit. Okay, so the mom has a thing. The Chucky runs away. She immediately goes to Mike. She goes to Mike. She catches him on the street. She tells him, "It literally got up in my hands," and he's like, "Good night, Mrs. Barkley," and he leaves.
Well, she
He
also
gives her
shows
the most dismissive
what?
face ever.
The bite mark.
Yes,
Which is a titular thing that apparently Charles Lee Ray, as Chucky, loves to do because it comes back as a callback in many of the other films later on. He bites people.
The thing is, she convinces him to help her look because she's like, "I'm going to the south side of Chicago to look for the doll or the hobo who sold me the doll," right? And he's like, "Oh no, I'll have a look. Don't you go running into south side of Chicago by yourself at night."
She does,
and
it's
she
good
does
though because he can track a falcon on a cloudy day. So
Yes.
Yeah.
he's the guy to find this thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
But she goes by herself into that shanty town, and of course it gets set up where he's like, "Well, I can tell you where I got it if you give me money." Tries to give her money, Nick. And what does it turn around into? Possible sexual assault.
not possible. An actual one where the detective
it doesn't
kind of
actually
saves
happen.
her from that. Yeah, he kind of steps in and saves her from that. And that was fun. Also good 80s. Like that.
Well, but he gets to the point where he realizes too by going back to the office in the interim and finding that those notes where it's like, oh, well, Charles E. Ray died the same night where the hobo says where he got the doll from.
Yeah, he squeezes the information out of him, and it's like he puts the connection in, and when he tries to go home, he gets let's say assaulted by a murdering doll. First he tries to choke him, then he doesn't make it, so he has a full-on knife, but he keeps missing him even though it's really easy to kill him, right? And if it doesn't go through the back, he tries to go down the bottom of the seat, and he keeps missing his nuts as well, up to the point where he loses control and he tips the car over. And he starts firing indiscriminately from the car to a doll that goes around and around and around the fucking car, which is hilarious.
What's funny about that scene is they had several child actors and also Ed Gale, who comes up later, and they set him on fire, were actually in Chucky suits running around the car.
I mean, to me, it works on more not what you see, is literally you see the shadows going around rather than the actual doll, which makes it creepier and more menacing and more suspenseful.
Well, you can see the feet sometimes that are just moving, but
but you don't see the whole thing until the point where Chucky has his like knife stuck somewhere in the car, and at a point of attack, he goes, "Hi, Mikey!" It takes the shank, and he tries to hit him with, but doesn't make it because he gets a shot off and shoots Chucky, where you can hear him yell out of pain and then go away.
I just feel like if I were in one of these movies that I would not be ever defeated by a doll. Like I just like they're not menacing to me because I feel like I would just win. I don't know about you guys, but I'm always like, I'm looking at physics and I'm going, I think I have a good chance. I think my odds are pretty strong here. Like I could just punt this stupid thing, or like its little midget arms would be trying to grab you. It's like I often just go to elementary schools and I fight children, and I feel like if I can defeat them, I could probably defeat a doll at the same time.
What I find, Nick, to that point, which again is also like, what is the actual capability or like pounds per square inch of PSI that this doll could actually put out as full actual workforce? I mean, like when he's trying to garrote him with the cable wires, it's like, wouldn't that just be like having like an angry toddler trying to choke you?
Yeah, you'd just be like, and you just laugh at it. Woo! Throw the doll. Like, who cares?
Well, we all know
little arms flailing.
It's because Prince Humperdinck is a big scaredy cat. He's just a big pussy, and
Yeah,
that's it. That's why it took him so long, and he fired all over the place, and that's the reason. I'm telling you.
See, Nerniath in the chat says try fighting a raccoon should be comparable. I have defeated a raccoon in hand-to-hand combat. Like that has happened. Well, I mean, I had a hammer and a knife, and but it had its natural weapons. It was like playing an MMO in real life, but being level 1. It's like you have to go fight all the raccoons. Yeah, I killed the hell out of that thing.
Well, as long as you aren't just going out and just killing random boars for hours on end, Nick, I think you're okay.
Yeah.
Eventually, I'll level up.
Eventually. So, the mother and the detective kind of figure out, well, we need to go and find Charles Lee Ray's apartment, I guess. Maybe he went there, and they find a whole shitload of voodoo shit. And when Mike kind of finds out, he has these papers, and on the papers it's got the guy who was his mentor. Mm-hmm. And they put 2 and 2 together because the guy's face is literally plastered on the wall, painted on the wall. It's like, oh, a clue.
Well, the whole big thing is of Charles Lee Ray praying to him.
Yes.
Almost like, which is odd because it's almost like he's playing a Baron Samedi like character. Like that's an old like Haitian voodoo. In Haitian voodoo, that's the head of Haitian voodoo is Baron Samedi.
It's whatchamacallit? It's not really Haitian voodoo. It's more Santeria, which is Caribbean type voodoo. Right?
Which is funny too, because people say like at the end of the Damballa speech after he says the Damballa bit with Andy, they think that he's speaking French. No, he's actually speaking Creole.
Yeah. So Chucky goes to the voodoo guy, and let me have a good shot. There we go. That's nice and creepy. He goes to the voodoo guy and he says, why I'm a doll. I thought this was making me impervious to pain and stuff. And the guy says, well, the more you spend time in this body, the more human you become. And he says, well, I need to know how to transfer to a different body because I can't stay in this flabby ass, tiny fucking body. And the voodoo guy is like, no, I've helped you enough. You've distorted my teachings. I will not give you the secret of how to do it. So Chucky's like, well, I've got this voodoo doll here. Why don't I just use it? And he starts to break his arms, and you can hear the big fucking crunch. Very satisfying.
This is the funniest thing, because out of the most outrageous shit that happens in the entire Chucky the Child's Play franchise, that's the weirdest bit, because the voodoo doll shit never comes up again.
in sequels,
yeah,
it never comes up.
Voodoo does, because he's always trying to use the voodoo curse to put his soul into someone else.
But the voodoo doll doesn't pick up.
The doll bit, like, wouldn't you think that would be his kind of go-to as being this diminutive doll? Why again, Nick, as you said, I could fight him off. Why wouldn't you use voodoo dolls?
Yeah. So he squishes him, and it's like it only took an arm and a leg, easy, and he gives up the secret.
Yeah, well,
I mean, he's
got more parts to break.
And when he gives up the secret, it's like, yeah, I'm just gonna kill you, and it just kills him, easy. I mean, why wouldn't you?
Yeah. And then he walks away and says the creepiest fucking line of the whole movie.
Please tell me. It's not my favorite line, though.
He goes, John, it was nice knowing you, but I have a date with a 6-year-old boy.
Oh, no.
Yes.
No, Chucky, no.
Yes.
He's going after Andy.
Open up.
Yeah. I mean, he is going after Andy.
I didn't know he was transferring his soul into Hunter Biden's body.
Yeah, right. That's a good
Damn. Rough. That was rough. So the thing is, after the whole police station thing, Andy was sent to a mental institution.
Yeah.
Because that's what you do. Because
That's what you do in the 80s.
Yeah, there's a psychiatrist that comes in at the end where it's like, this kid is delusional. We have to take care of him. And he's like, this dude, you will not give this dude your child to put in a fucking institute for the insane. And when Chucky literally goes to find Andy, finds him in the place, but Andy actually makes a daring escape, which is
Well, there's a whole lot, but I do have to say one thing. Alex Vincent, the kid who actually plays who plays Andy, and has throughout the entire series, did an amazing job being able to cry on command. But man, they fucked that kid up real bad. Because they kept telling him, whenever you have to cry, just think of how sad it would be if your parents died right now. It's like,
yeah,
Jesus.
get him in there.
Shades of Corey Haim and Corey Feldman there. Holy shit.
And that's why he would
Holy
just
shit.
be able to cry on command, like, Chucky's gonna kill me. Yeah.
I mean, would you cry if you see this face? Damn, this dude is
like a
creepy.
He looks like a pedo, like a Gary Busey. He looks like Gary Busey gone wrong.
He looks like fucking an old Gary Busey or Gary Busey.
It's terrible.
Yeah. So he makes he kind of fools the guy and he runs away. And what do you know? Where did he get to? The place where they do shock therapy. Because that's how things work. And the doctor is like, let me give you this injection so you won't be so hysterical. As Chucky literally walks through the door, there's Andy picks up a scalpel actually to defend himself, which is sensible, right? But as soon as the doctor pulls in, the scalpel falls.
He takes the scalpel out of his hand and throws it like, you're not going to need this anymore.
Yeah.
And I will.
Yeah.
He
but
gets
Chucky,
his Achilles.
Yeah, Chucky picks it away and he slices off his fucking ankle, which is fucking insane. And then he puts on the shock therapy headset on and he just turns on the thing and the guy just fries to death as Andy watches.
Which, by the way, in the entire bit of the Child's Play series, this is the third time, first out of 3, that a very, very fucked up psychiatrist, just terrible mental health position, ends up getting just brutally murdered by Chucky.
Do we think the writer has something against psychiatrists? Maybe.
Hope so.
Who
doesn't
probably.
Really?
Well, I do. So the thing is, all the police kind of rushes into the asylum as the mother actually tries to talk to one of the kids there. That kind of caught me off guard a little bit. The mother actually tries to talk to one of the kids there. It's like, have you seen Andy? Have you seen Chucky? And the kid is totally whacked out on drugs. But Andy does the sensible thing, right? Andy goes back home.
Well, the thing is, too, that was part of the bit that was cut. The reason, how he actually got into the doors, it shows him on the outside where Andy's looking out and you see Chucky just clambering up the stairs, but he couldn't get in. That was supposed to be the reason why he couldn't get in was because the doors were actually locked, but one little girl was always able to get out of a room and walk around. That's the little girl they were talking to. She actually opened the door for Chucky and carried him to where Andy was. That was a scene that was cut out of the movie.
What a nice little trollop.
Yeah, I really.
So he goes back home, and of course he needs to get armed to the teeth. So he has that little tiny baseball bat.
Okay, just real quick.
Yes.
Right there, right before then, it shows where Chucky gets out of the asylum too, and he's riding the elevator with the elderly couple, and old guy looks back and goes, "Don't worry about the doll. It's just one little kid's doll. It's not going to be. Just leave it there. The kid will come get it. It just leave it." And the old woman looks back and goes, "Ugly doll." As they walk away, the elevator goes up, and you just hear Brad Dorief go, "Fuck you." That's Chucky.
Yeah. And I was like, and they have Chucky with not only the burnt face, but he also has his featured change into even more menacing as he's just laid there in the corner. And it's like, this, I mean, I guess.
Well, and you notice that throughout it, he's actually slowly turning more and more
he's
human,
turning more,
and his
the
hair is
features-
actually thinning, and he's starting to look more like Charles Lee Ray. And originally, what they were going to do is actually start to give the doll stubble that Charles Lee Ray had when he died, but they couldn't get it to work out right, and the budget was so small. They're like, no, don't worry about it.
Yeah, we'll just let it be. Just let it be. But of course, Chucky makes it into the house, and the first thing he does, he kind of fools Andy, and he doesn't kill him because he needs him alive to do the ceremony bit. He actually fools him. Andy drops the bat at some point, and Chucky grabs it and he hits him like fucking on the head. And you have that little Hollywood kind of plunk sound where a bat hits a cranium, which
it's
is
the
stupid.
Foley artwork of a bat hitting something. Yeah.
Yes. And the kid drops and the whole ceremony starts. But of course, the mother and the cop are on the way. My camera is really fucking up.
Yeah. I say in the interim too, just real quick, the stuff that Andy starts to pick up as weapons are actually callbacks to alternate endings they were going to have. So originally, one point in time, Andy was going to end up killing Chucky by putting the knife that Chucky had, on his RC car and driving the RC car into Chucky, stabbing his heart and killing him.
Okay.
And with the baseball bat, there was another one where Nick was actually going to end up getting a baseball bat and knocking his head off and then crushing the doll.
Yeah.
You mean
that one.
Mike?
Mike, yeah. Mike Norris, yeah.
Yeah.
I would do it too, though.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, of course. Obviously. So the whole, and of course, as soon as Andy drops unconscious, the thing starts, the bala, and immediately the clouds kind of start forming in the sky, same as the toy shop. And who walks in if not the parents, the parent and the Mike and the mom. I like this shot too. It's like, oh, give me the power of body transfer
by the power of Grayskull.
Grayskull. Yeah. They walk in, and let's see. They stop it for a little bit as he runs away, but he picks up the bat and he hits the cop. Let me get. Oh, I hate it. And never mind. He gets the bat, and he hits Mike in the face. And the mom, as soon as the mom walks in, she picks up the gun and she shoots Chucky in the leg or in the shoulder, where he like drops back and then kind of disappears. And of course they corner him in the fireplace, right? Let me see. There's a beautiful shot.
Yeah.
Beautiful shot. Yes. Right? As soon as Chucky attacks the mom, after she shot him, she kind of corners him around and she pushes him with the fireplace screen, and Andy comes to, and she asks him to get the matches real quick because she already opened up the gas. She's just waiting for the matches. And I love the line that Andy does where Chucky's...
I knew you were going to say it.
Yes, Chucky. This is my favorite line in the movie, where Chucky knows he's cornered. He knows he's going to burn to death. And he's like, we're going to be friends forever. And Andy goes...
No, says, Andy, I'm your friend to the end.
Sorry. Yes, I'm your friend to the end. And Andy says, this is the end, friend. And he fucking burns him. Beautiful.
Cold-blooded
from a
6-year-old.
Yeah. Arnold Schwarzenegger style, literally. So before the last little sequence, because every good slasher movie needs 17 deaths of the slasher, and he always comes back for more. Always comes back for more. Before that, we will do our second segment of the night, my favorite, everybody's favorite. It's called Screen Fighter.
Round 1, fight.
What is Screen Fighter, you say? Screen Fighter is very simple. We take two movies, pit them together, and see which one is the best one. There's no discernible difference between the two. Both of them are good. Both of them are bad. We fall to our criteria, which is Friday evening, Saturday evening, out with the boys, out with the girls, out with their significant other. We've got two movies in a vacuum. Which one will we pop in? And because my fucking PC went all jumped up and crazy, I'm gonna have to set this up. I had the most beautiful pair. Yes, ladies. I had the most beautiful pair to start off with, but we're gonna start off with this random pair.
Don't worry about it, Nick. He's just off on his own little world right now.
That's good. It's good. Everybody appreciates a beautiful pair.
That's a beautiful pair. We're gonna start off with this. Chat participation is most welcome yet again. Which one will you watch? Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom or Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs? The original.
Temple of Doom. I mean, every time.
Every time. Reason?
I only watched I'd only watch the porn remake of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Oh, okay.
The reason you got everything.
Hi ho, it's off to work we go has a different meaning in that one.
Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, it might be I go between all three, but I really like this one so much. It's the one I would watch the most as a kid. You know, you've got the Kali Ma, you've got like hearts getting ripped out, you got them eating monkey brains. You got Short Round, who's hilarious. That guy gets crushed by the rock crusher. Like there's just so much good in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Like it is just great.
I mean, for me, of the three, it's definitely The Last Crusade. And I'm saying three because I deny the existence of the fourth. Definitely
movie.
No, there's no fourth movie. Definitely not a fifth one. Holy hell. Yeah, and no. Disney, no. Big no. All my feelings, easy.
I mean, that's an easy pick, though.
Easy pick. Wildcats or The Prestige?
I would go with The Prestige.
Okay.
It's a tough choice, though.
Feelings?
I would actually go with Wildcats. So I thought Wildcats was actually a pretty decent comedy for the 80s.
I mean, it had Wesley Snipes in it that I remember. I haven't seen it in a long while. Is this the movie where she goes into their locker room where everybody's naked? Right?
Yep.
And in turn, when she's in the bathtub, one of her players just walks in and they have a conversation while she's naked.
Yep.
I remember that.
A tit for cock, technically.
Tit for tat. Yeah, tit for tat.
The thing with The Prestige is, Nick, as you said before, a lot of older films, especially older horror, has a lot of the old where the pacing is so slow and plotting and methodical, where you're just like, get to the point. A lot of the elder kind of like the suspense stuff in the mid 2000s to late 2000s had that same issue where it's like, just get to the point already. You're wasting my time. You're dragging on and on. I don't need a fourth exposition dump from a different character's perspective. I get what you're going for. I mean, they're trying to beat you over the head with the message at a certain point in time. They're like, "Hey, dum-dum, here's what happened."
I don't know. I love The Prestige. I like the whole mystery.
I do too.
It's a long build for sure. It's a long build for sure, but because you have the Hugh Jackman side and you have the fucking Batman side, right? Christian Bale. And
oh, go ahead. Yeah.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, and I love like, it's the idea of like Christian Bale has the greatest magic trick that exists, except it's not like presented well at all. And like I love that becomes the conflict of the movie right away. And all it is like he steps at, like he bounces the ball, right? It's just and then he catches it on the other side of the stage. And Hugh Jackman is just sitting there like,
this is the greatest thing ever.
What the fuck was that? Like, and it's like he's doing all these little tricks or whatever, but that trick right there is just like, it was impossible. It was an impossible trick. And I just like, and then he's obsessively trying to figure it out the whole time. Plus you get to the part at the end where you don't know, like, and this is what I really liked about this movie. You don't know which Hugh Jackman is killing which one, right?
Yes.
Like, is the original dying and the new one's there, or is the new one just being birthed into creation right before getting off? Like, which one is going every time? And you don't know. And it's like, that to me is that's the peak of horror, right? Like, it's in The Prestige just a little bit. It's the unknown and the discomfort of, like, is he killing himself for this trick every night? Does he even know? Like, oh, that's good for me.
Well, see,
and which
Nick,
brother actually did the time? Or
I would say,
don't remember
Nick,
if it got executed.
I say, Nick, that's an excellent point, because talk about an existential crisis. Am I the original or am I the clone?
Right. Oh man.
Yeah.
I like that movie a lot.
Jumanji or adaptation. This is where
we talked about adaptation, Meth. You hate that movie.
You hate that movie?
I hate that movie.
It is. It's an amazing film.
It's so good because it just shoves Robert McKee's stupid fucking book right back in his face. This one, hold on.
He has it. Oh,
I know.
That's gonna be great. For me, it's Jumanji. Here it is.
Yep.
To me, it's Jumanji. We'll wait for Nick. To me, it's Jumanji. Just because I hate adaptation, Jumanji is a terrible movie. Terrible movie. Go ahead. I'm guessing you both go for adaptation. I'll click it. I'll click it.
Dude, okay. Fine. All you need for adaptation is this. There's the scene where they're both cracked out on the whatever drug that he's synthesizing from those flowers.
Yeah.
Right? He at that point is not Nicolas Cage. It's the Nazi dad neighbor from American Beauty. And
yes.
And they're on the phone. Yeah. He's on the phone with the chick, and he's like, okay, I need you to do this. Go. Ooh, and she does it, and then he does the dissonant tone that harmonizes with it and makes the dial tone sound with their two voices. Like, that part of the movie alone gives me chills. Like, I don't know why that scene is there, and it's just right. Like, adaptation is so good, and Mephisto, I'm disappointed in you, man. That movie's it's like perfection. I love it.
You want to hear disappointment? I hate E.T. with a passion. Like, I hate it. I'll admit it.
I get that one.
I hate E.T.
No,
you can say whatever the fuck you want, but I hate it.
E.T., I want to grab him by his little stupid neck and throw him. Like, I hate him too. I'm with you on that one.
Like, when they fly with a bike, I really hope they fucking crash. I don't care. Right.
It's a tough one
then
here.
they go up the hill, and there's no flying scene at all. It's just
no, yeah. All right. Cool. Birdcage or Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. I need to rewatch Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
I'd watch Kiss Kiss Bang Bang over Birdcage, but they're both really good.
I think the Birdcage gets more credit than it's really due, and Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is actually vastly underrated for really being that, and Scanner Darkly being the catalyst that got Robert Downey Jr. the role as Tony Stark in the original Iron Man, that just gave him his whole career renaissance.
When his finger gets chopped off in Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, it's like one of the funniest scenes. Like,
it is funny.
For me, it's The Birdcage. Recently rewatched it. Holds up. It breaks all the fucking. To me, it breaks all the woke stuff because it puts the neocons on blast, but the other side is not being overly portrayed. They give you the entire array of gayness. I'm gonna say, from the regular old Robin Williams to Nathan Lane, all like lispy, crazy, all the way to feminist kind of Nathan Lane. But all the way in between, you've got a few of these coming in, and it like really portrays what it is for real rather than whatever it is now that you get. Like this, The Birdcage is a teaching fucking movie for people right now. By the way, have you guys seen the French original?
No.
I've seen it. It's actually boring. It's boring.
It's okay.
This one is done really good because both Robin Williams and Nathan Lane do a fantastic fucking job.
Well, the comedy is really turned up in The Birdcage.
Yes.
As opposed to the French original.
The French original is really dry.
Yeah.
Really dry.
But see, Val Kilmer was also the most likable gay in any movie ever in Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Yes.
That's true.
But not enough. Not enough for me. Right. Last pairing, 16 Candles, John Hughes movie, and Chocolat.
I'd go with 16 Candles.
Okay.
Like classic teen movie. Got to go with it.
Yeah. Feelings?
It's John Hughes. It's Chicago. It's 16 Candles.
It's Marley Ringwald. She's a redhead. She's fucking hot. And she gives up her panties. It's 16 Candles.
Oh,
Definitely.
Side note, didn't know if you noticed this or not, but Molly Ringwald plays Jeffrey Dahmer's stepmother in the new Dahmer series. But
I have not noticed. Jeffrey
Yeah.
Dahmer series is on the very long
It's
list
fantastic.
of movies and
It's-
TV series that I
It
need
is
to watch.
very
Holy shit.
unnerving.
Molly Ringwald also shows up in one of the greatest teen movies of all time, Not Another Teen
Another
Movie.
teen movie,
Not Another
which
Teen
is
Movie,
on the list that
correct.
we're going to review later. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, God,
Why
that
am
is
I always?
great.
Why am I always in these things?
Do we have it on December or January? I don't remember.
No, it's
No
in
and
the
no?
month that we talk about yet.
Oh, that's right. That's
you
right.
know.
Yes, I know. But it's far in the future. It's really far in
Yes.
the future. So the last kind of bits, they burn Chucky down. It still doesn't help. We've got the partner of Mike coming in and kind of gets attacked by this half burnt doll that he finds in the hallway.
Well, that's
'Cause
after he gets blown into pieces
Yes, he gets
by
burned.
Karen.
Yes. I've jumped in a little bit farther away. He gets shot, burned, killed. She literally wastes an entire 6-shooter on him, right?
And this, of course, obviously the callback to The Shining.
Yes.
Well,
that's
Now I see why the cops want to shoot him.
Yeah. Fucking hell, Nick.
Oh.
Did anybody got a rim shot on command?
I don't have a roadcaster yet. We're aiming for it. Yes, but
no, but no, with that callback to The Shining.
If I wasn't already demonetized, that would
You
have
are
done it.
now.
No,
I was gonna say no.
that one will fly. Don't worry.
Yeah,
Yes,
I know.
with the knifing on the door, the callback to The Shining, because Brad Dorief worked with Tom Holland wanted to keep it in there as an homage to the film, and also because Brad Dorief worked with Jack Nicholson and Scatman Carruthers in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and they were both also in The Shining. So
yes,
the callback on a callback on a callback.
But this one is just a tad closer. Just a tad closer. By the way, I know they do a movie trick with this, but usually they put a stunt double in there. She was there throughout the scene.
Yeah, she was there. The whole
She
time.
was definitely there.
I have a pro tip for anyone trying to hold a door against a tiny doll. Keep your face away from the knife. Like, just stay away. Like, just 8 inches back from the door, and you're fine. But
just
like,
push it
always
with
do
your
it.
feet.
Well, actually, couldn't you just lean and just lean back?
Yes,
Because the height
tiny.
differential.
You could just do anything, like anything other than what you did. It's a tiny doll. Again, there's no leverage, no physics. There's nothing for him there.
I mean, as soon as she leaves the door, he pops the door open, but she already has Mike's gun, and she just blam, 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 emptying it on it, severing his arm, severing his head, but she doesn't hit the heart. Great, because we need just one more resurrection to complete the story. So
Because it has
like
to
I
come
said,
with, obviously, Mike's partner comes in.
yes,
It's like,
and he finds the doll on the hallway, as we
finds
said.
all the pieces and says, okay, the doll's dead. And Mike warns him, don't touch any of it. What does he do? He picks up the creepy head. The burnt,
the half melting black mouth open head. All that's missing is like red lips. And he puts it on the dresser. He's like, oh, look, this is just a doll. This is just a doll. And as soon as he says that, from the air vent or something, a fucking hand grabs him by the throat and is like, oh no. Oh no, this doll
Chucky
is alive.
says the same thing throughout the rest of it. Choke them, kill them all, choke them, stab them, kill them all.
Yes.
So as we could say, Charles Lee Ray has a one-track mind.
Correct.
Yeah.
And as soon as he gets up, so the body stands up and the head is literally on the dresser there. He gets up and the mother yells to Mike, it's like, shoot him in the heart. And he aims, shoot him, and a big splatter of blood all over the place. And Chucky is dead. Chucky is dead. And that basically ends the movie.
The only other line of there that's important at the end, where Mike tells his partner, now do you believe me? And his partner just says, yeah, but who's going to believe me?
Yes. And there's two things where it kind of...
The only thing that I could say is, technically, Nick, in that situation, if there's blood, couldn't that just be used as DNA evidence to realize that they had Charles Lee Ray's blood at the scene of the crime, kind of corroborating their story that it existed?
I don't know how good. I don't know if the DNA transfer worked. I mean, maybe it melded with.
That's true.
Maybe it melded with like the doll. Maybe it got a vaccine or something. I have no idea.
Start with that. the thing is, the last shot of the movie, it kind of supports the whole we didn't know how to actually do this. Is it actually the kid? Is it the doll? Maybe already transferred a piece of him into Andy, where Andy does that look back, right, as the door closes, and he has this look, this menacing, creepy ass look as the door closes, and it's like, was there a transfer? Wasn't there a transfer? There was no lightning involved, but we don't know. And it kind of ends the movie not ambiguously, but it is ambiguous.
Well, as we said before, Meph, there obviously was no lightning involved because there was still blood at the scene.
Yes. Well, yeah, I guess. And that's basically it. That's the end of it. Cool. Let's summarize. Yeah, I know it's short. We usually go long.
It's typically
time.
It is 85-minute movie from soup to nuts. It's a very, very fast film.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
The thing is, it takes all the tropes of a regular slasher movie and puts an extra spin on them because you have the doll involved, right? What will they do next is the sequel. I don't know where I'm going with this. You summarize the movie. I blanked out. I'm sorry. I blanked out something I wanted to say.
What are you thinking about? Where they go next in the franchise, or
in the franchise? Yeah.
So from there, it moves on to the toy factory and everything in Child's Play 2, which includes, that's where he actually has Andy goes into foster care. That's a whole other side story.
Never mind. Leave the next movie.
Yeah.
So I want to summarize this entire movie. So soup to nuts, 85 minutes. It's a lot of small set pieces in the movie itself. It creeps you out. It puts you in suspense to a halfway point of the movie, and then it kind of kicks off. There's not a lot of deaths in this movie as for a slasher movie.
No, I think it's only 6. It's actually the lowest in the entire franchise.
Yeah, it doesn't really.
Curse of Chucky.
That's actually really common in 80s slasher movies, though. The body counts in the first ones were often low. I think Nightmare on Elm Street's like 4 or something like that.
No, it's 3. It's basically the two girls, 2 boys, and it starts off with a girl, then her boyfriend, then Johnny Depp in the fucking bed, and then the mom at the very end where he like pulls her into the house. I think. Yeah. I don't think the dad gets killed.
No, because Nancy's father is still
Nancy
alive.
stays alive. Yeah.
Nancy's father's all the way alive until I think 5.
And
I want to say 5.
In
Halloween,
Friday the 13th, there's 7 or 8.
And it's I think Jason is the most. And
that wasn't even Jason.
Right. Yeah. But I think Halloween's like 5, something like that. It's really not very many either. You have the guy that he kills kills off camera, the guy at the beginning to get the car, and then in Haddonfield, I mean, he kills the friends, but
her boyfriend,
the 2 girlfriends, the 2 boyfriends.
Oh, the one was smoking hot. Ooh.
Yeah, and that's about it. Yeah, that's about it.
In the 80s movies, man, like those early slasher movies, there just were not many deaths, and they ramped them up later, especially Friday the 13th. He starts killing everybody.
It gets a little bit surreal at a certain point in time where it's like you're nearly massacring like a part of a small town here. I mean, come on, man.
I love it was not Jason X. Jason X was the one where they were in space.
Yes.
We
just talked about it before you went on.
Jason Goes to Hell.
Yeah, Jason Goes to Hell. That's my favorite one. It has the best kills in it. Like when he puts Hookie's face in the deep fryer. And then he pulls him out and smashes that chick's jaw in so she chokes to death on her own blood. Like that. Like those are the best kills of any slasher movie. I love Jason Goes to Hell.
I said the only one that I liked more was the one in Jason X, was the funny bit where they had him in the simulation where where the girls at the camp were like, oh, we're sluts, oh, we love to having sex, so he puts them in sleeping bags and bashes them against a tree.
Oh, it was so awesome. That's the redeeming quality of that movie to me. But Jason Goes to Hell needs no redemption. It is great through and through. The guy, like the bounty hunter guy, is like, the one guy's like trying to get information, like, it's going to cost you. It's like, cost me what? Give me a hand. Starts breaking his fingers. Like, why are you breaking this man's fingers? He's going to go fight Jason. Like, he needs all those digits to work. It doesn't even matter.
Phoenix, you wanted to share why Child's Play originally was such a shit show for you. Please
when I was a
share
kid,
us a horror story from your past.
when
And
I
your
was a kid,
scarred,
I was terrified of Child's Play. Because again, I was a toddler at the time. Before the movie came out, my aunt gave me a Cabbage Patch doll with ginger hair and named it
Nice.
Chucky. It had a red shirt and overalls.
Yes.
I grew
Yeah,
up.
not a
I
good way to
grew up-
start out.
I grew up with mostly GI Joes, so they were like tiny. I never was afraid of any dolls. I didn't like my grandma didn't have one of those porcelain dolls in the house, but we had a neighbor next to my grandma that had a whole bunch of them. Like
Yeah.
one of those, like it's like a movie trope where you have a shelf full of those porcelain dolls. When we like went to her house, because there were kids in the neighborhood that were like friendly and same age as mine. We went into her house every once in a while just to get a drink of water. She had one of those rooms where it's fucking creepy when you look back at it. At the time,
Yeah.
it didn't seem that way, but I have a mental image of how that room looked with the doilies and the little teacups and all that. And it's like, oh, that's scary. When I
And
watched,
you go, why do you have this, lady? Like
See-
what's your plan here? What's the end game of this room?
See,
yes,
I think, Nick, that's the real telling thing about that. The people that have collections of porcelain dolls, you have to go, okay, the dolls I'm actually okay with. You, on the other hand,
we're gonna
What's
have
on
to
your
put
mind?
you on. Yeah, we're gonna have to put you on blast because
Why does this small
this is
chair
not
have
good.
duct tape remnants on it? Like I don't
Yeah.
know. Like, the neighborhood dogs keep going missing. Like, are they participating in tea parties here? I don't. Man,
and oh my God, what's that smell?
that was in it was in one of the Annabelle movies, I think, where they had it was the one like the Annabelle origin story movie. I think that was the first one. And like, yeah, she had like the whole bunch of dolls, and the Annabelle doll would be sitting there amongst all the others, just looking all menacing and horrifying. Like, yeah, that's they've started doing that really well, playing on that trope. I like it.
Do you remember what game it is? There's a game. I don't remember what the name is, but the whole point of the game is to survive 6 hours. It's not Five Nights at Freddy's. But the whole point is you have 3 different dolls in the house. One of them is like a clown, one of them is like a porcelain doll, and you have to have separate things that they do. So if you see the doll, you need to stand still. If you see
it's
the
an
clown, you
indie
have to
game.
like look sideways. You still have it in the picture. I don't remember what it is, but every hour is like a challenge. You have to fulfill the hour, and along the way you've got this tapes and letters around the house that helps you build the story of what happened. And I think, again, if the chat knows what game I'm talking about, it's
Emily
like
wants to play.
like a 10
Play,
10 15, yeah, Emily wants to play. It's fucking good. Anybody who loves like creepy ass fucking spooky games to play for October or for Halloween, it's fucking good. It's really good.
If you haven't played Amnesia, the original Amnesia,
Oh, that's a really good game.
I have it.
whew,
I
Man,
have it
they're,
on
like-
on I think on Epic.
that game's rude. Like, it's actually rude to you. Like, I remember I haven't played through much of it, but I was playing, and like you walk down this hallway, it's this long like room, and you get to the end, and like lightning flashes, and there's like this freaking ghost figure like right in front of you, and then it like jump scares you on, like there's nothing you can do. And then every time you go past that spot, you think it's going to happen, and it never happens again. And I've seen other people on a fresh playthrough, and it doesn't happen. Like, I don't know why it happened at that time, but it has stuff like that all throughout the game where like sometimes it just wants to ruin your day. It's great. God, that's a good one.
Yeah. When the computer or the the game AI is good, it's good. Right. Anything more to add to the film itself?
I was just gonna
Uh,
add. I know that now that the second season of the actual series of Child's Play or
Yeah.
Chucky now is coming out. Actually next week. If you want to watch the rest of the series, I highly recommend going up to 3. Watch
Up to
Bride
the
once, stop, then go right to Cult of Chucky.
Okay.
You can watch
And
Curse sets up Cult, but you can kind of miss it. But Cult goes right into season 1, so that the entire narrative there is actually pretty much follows the same kind of path line where it is one cohesive narrative, as long as you just disregard Seed of Chucky, because
okay.
that movie nobody should watch.
I did want to
It's
ask.
awful.
I did want to ask Nick. I've put up a poll on my channel, my community tab. Which one of these 4 is your favorite slasher? I put in Freddy, Chucky, Jason, and Michael. I know there's many more. But which one of those 4? So it's classic, sort of like I would say classic 80s, even though Halloween is in 78,
79 or 78.
79 ish.
One of those two.
Which one of those 4 though?
As a kid, it was always Freddy for me. Like, I loved Nightmare on Elm Street. I loved being terrified by Freddy Krueger. Robert Englund actually personally made my sister want to die, which was great. We were at Astro World, which was the theme park in Houston, the Six Flags theme park, and they would do Fright Night during October, and they had this haunted house. I was tiny, man. I was little, 5, 6 years old, something like that. And my sister's 5 years older than me. And so we had watched whichever Nightmare on Elm Streets had come out at that point, maybe 2 by that point. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I think this would have been in 88 or 89 when we were doing this. But anyway, and they had in the haunted house, they had Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger at Astroworld. Like,
that's amazing.
He was actually there.
He's actually there. It was actually him. And so, like, you went through these rooms at the theme park, and like the one had like these spooky skeletons, which creeped me out because I was a little kid, and like so I was like crying and holding on to my mom as she's like, "Get over it." And we're going through the haunted house, and we get to the Freddy Krueger room, and he's like kind of separated. There's like a wall that's open, and you see him, and he's like got his claws out, and he's like dancing around, like, you know, moving like Freddy, being kind of like, when you look back at Freddy Krueger, he moves extremely gay, right? Like,
oh yeah, I've just watched the original last night. I had a blast. I'm not gonna lie, I had a blast.
No, they're so good. But so the like everybody filters into the next room, and Robert Englund comes up because my sister is terrified, and we're walking into the next room, but we're the last people in line. And he very nicely, not trying to be rude, puts his hand on her shoulder and says, "Are you scared of the dark, little girl?" And she leaps onto my mom. Like, she is in abject terror. And he's like, "I am so sorry. I am so sorry. I did not mean to do that." Like, he was... so like, I have a fondness in my heart for Freddy Krueger.
Now, the only thing I can think of is because obviously, you know, I thought like he might go into character a little bit. "I'm so sorry, bitch."
Yeah. No, he was like I don't think he was even trying to be Freddy Krueger in that moment. He was just like, he saw a kid who was scared and just was like, "Are you scared of the dark, little girl?" And like, she just,
that's
fantastic. That is fantastic.
To me, it's always Freddy, because the first ever like slasher movie that I've ever seen is Nightmare on Elm Street, the original. I genuinely love the scene where Johnny Depp gets sucks into the bed and then spewed out all of the fucking ceiling. I liked it so much. I genuinely watched it not because of being horrified, as I was amused by his antics. Like
Yes.
the way that he kind of frightens people. That's my thing with him. And when
I
it
love
came
when he
to
does the
on the
earwig
fourth
to the
one,
guy.
on the fourth
Yeah.
one, it was already it was so comical by that point, where it was, to me, it was irredeemable. The best thing is I used to grab them from the rental, like the video
Yeah.
rental, and put it on while my brother was sitting next to me. And my brother is like 6 years younger than me. So when I watched it, I was like 10 or
Terrifying your
11,
younger sibling.
and he was like
Yeah.
5.
It's kind of a rite of passage, isn't it?
Oh shit. That was beautiful. That was beautiful.
That was my sister and me, but like
Yeah.
we would always do that. But no, I loved number 4 is actually, I think that's my favorite Nightmare on Elm Street. Like the kills are so ridiculous. You got the guy in the wheelchair who's like a wizard because he's like a D&D nerd. So in his dreams, he's like
Yes.
kicking Freddy's ass for a while. Like that's awesome. You got the earwig thing in that one where like he makes the guy deaf and then he gives him the ear and then he does the nails on the chalkboard.
Yes.
Like, oh, they were just like so elaborate. I
They were
love
elaborate
Freddy.
and they were funny. If
Yes.
I'm not mistaken, the main chick in it is Hilary Swank. I need to check it again. I might check it now.
In number 4?
I think so.
Also, number 4 had the naked chick in the waterbed, which
Yes.
I'll never forget.
That's
Can never
very
forget
true.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Call it a coming of age
Nightmare on
tale.
Elm Street
Look,
4.
Incidental nudity, it's gone. It's gone. But it was so critical, like to all of these movies that I could think back on.
Oh, like in the 80s? Oh, in the 80s, it had to be like in the
Yeah.
middle of it. If you were doing a horror film, you're just like, just show some tits. It's fine. Just don't worry about it.
Oh no, I was wrong. I was wrong. It's somebody else. Somebody else. No. It definitely wasn't Hilary Swank. Cool. I remember it way
Is
different.
that Patricia Arquette?
No, Patricia Arquette is in 3, which kind of leads
Dream
me.
Warriors. Yeah.
Kind of leads me to the last bit before we pull on something special. Next week, we will be covering Nightmare on Elm Street, number 3, The Dream Warriors.
Dream Warriors.
Nice.
Which that's my favorite,
star-studded-
Nick.
Star-studded cast.
So good. They're all
Patricia
good, though.
Arquette, fucking Lawrence Fishburne is in it. I completely forgot he was in it, and a host of cast that you don't remember the name, but when you see the faces, like, I know this guy, I know this girl. They weren't in a lot, but you remember them. So before we end the show, we usually, and I do mean usually, because sometimes I mess about and make the thing and completely forget I made it. We have something called the short version, but because my PC went all out of whack, I need to reload this. Thank you. There we go.
The best Arquette, though, was Rosanna Arquette in Nowhere to Run with Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Correct, sir. Yes. Great shower scene. Great shower
smoking hot
scene.
in that movie. She was smoking hot in that movie.
Right. Before we end the show, we have short little segment called the short version. Let's put it up. It will start playing, and there we go. Let's put us on cinematic mode. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, the short version of Child's Play.
Okay, here we go. The short version.
Mommy, wake up! I knew it! I knew you'd get me one!
Get wrecked!
Miss Peterson's dead, Miss Barkley.
What? Mommy, I know who was on the kitchen counter.
Andy.
Who, Andy?
Thought I
Who?
Chucky.
Andy, Chucky. Chucky is a doll. He's made of plastic and stuffing. Look at him. Look at him.
I'll stuff you, bitch.
Come on, Chucky, say something. Tell me why you lied to me about and Chucky wanna play?
You stupid bitch! You filthy slut!
Came alive in my hand. I dropped him. He got up and ran out of the apartment.
Good night, Mrs. Parchman.
Hi, Mikey!
More time you spend in that body, more human you become. That is the first human being you revealed your true self to.
You mean the first person I let in on the fact that I was really alive?
Look, George, some child left their doll in the elevator.
Now leave it alone. Whoever left it there will come back looking for it.
Oh.
This is the end, friend.
The heart! Shoot him in the heart!
Kind of fucks up at the end, but my PC is way off. All right, cool. I'm on the bottom. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Nick, for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, thanks for having me.
If you do want to follow Nick, you might as well just go to Ricada Law on YouTube, or definitely check him out on Rumble as well, just in case Susan wants to fuck around with our boy here. And always go you can do a free locals account and go to ricadalaw.locals.com, and if anything happens, he will be there to give you the lowdown. This happened again, or this happened, and whatever, and you get all the information there. Most definitely. Thank you, chat, for joining us tonight.
Very much.
And remember, go watch Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors, and come back to us next week, and we'll talk about it with two guests. One is Mr. Tom Connors, who is in the chat, and
what does he know about movies anyway?
What does he know about movies? And a new guy that recently got his channel monetized, the Uber Geek, who is a meme smith and a half. Definitely join us for then. Until then, good night.
Take care.